Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by again. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a trumpet sleeve, and without further ado, let's get started. So right here, I'll be using this pattern paper to draft the sleeve, all right? And the first thing I'm going to do is just to go ahead and draft the start line, all right? So I'll just indicate a straight line on this part. And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and indicate the bicep line, or what we call the cap height, all right? And to do this, just go ahead and divide your bust by 12. Then whatever value you get, you're going to add 0.5 to that, all right? So here, I'm just indicating mine here, and I'll just connect those points on a straight line like so. And the next line to indicate is the flare point, all right, where we want the flare of the sleeve to start from. This line is actually optional, right? But I'll just go ahead and indicate that. And what I need to do is just to come down by 8 inches, all right, from the top. And having done that, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and indicate the sleeve length, all right? And for this sleeve, I'm going to be using 26 inches. And this is inclusive of sewing allowance. So I'll just go ahead and label each line, all right? So here we have our cap height here, and this line is our flare point. I'll just write bicep there, all right? And here, this is the sleeve length. And the next thing to do is just to come to the cap height line here, and you are going to divide your armhole by 2, all right? Or you go ahead and divide your bust by 6 plus 1.5 inches, all right? And whatever you have is what you are going to put there. And for mine, I have 8 inches, all right? And the next thing I'm going to do is to find the midpoint of the 8 inches, which I just indicated here. And having done that, the next thing to do is to find the midpoint of these two lines, all right? And I'll just measure what I have there and divide it into 2 using my tape measure, all right? And I'm just going to indicate the midpoint between the lines like so, all right? And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and form our curve, all right? So just like an inverted S, I'm just going to connect from here to the point that we have at the mid point here, all right? And from that midpoint, we are going to connect it to the cap line, all right? So I use my marker to shadow the line, and right now I'll just go ahead and highlight that inverted S that we have right here. And up next, I'll just go ahead and add 1 inch allowance to the armhole measurement here. And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and indicate our sleeve round, all right? Right about your bicep, you're going to measure what you have there, and you're going to divide it into 2, all right? And for mine, I have 7, so I'll just indicate that here. And I'm going to add 0.5 inches for ease, then 1.1 inch, for allowance. Then I'm going to just go ahead and connect the points together, all right? And up next, I'll measure the value that we have here, and I'm going to duplicate that value on the sleeve length like so. And next, you are going to add about 4 to 5 inches to that. Right here, I added 4, all right? And the next thing to do is just to connect the point to the bicep line, okay? So here guys, if you don't want your own trumpet sleeve to be fitted around the top, okay, all you need to do is just to go ahead and connect right from the cap height to the sleeve length, all right? Just connect it all the way down in an A-shaped line, all right? All right guys, so the next thing to do is just to come to this side here. If you don't want the sleeve to be sharp around the corner, all you need to do is just to come up by 1 inch, and we're going to shape it inward like this. And having done that, I'll just go ahead and shade this part, okay? We're going to cut it off later on, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and label the pattern trumpet sleeve, all right? And right now, we can just go ahead and cut out the pattern. So right here, I'm going to be using this African print for the sleeve, right? I'm going to fold it into 4, and I'm going to place my pattern paper on it. Then I'm going to cut it out. So right here, this is our sleeve, and the next thing to do is just to notch the center line. All right, and up next I will cut a lining piece for it. This is totally optional. You can just go ahead and install your zip on your dresses or whatever you want to use it for. All right, but here I'll just go ahead and cut a lining piece for it. Having done that, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and stitch the side of the sleeve. All right, so I'm going to align it right side facing the right side, and using our sewing allowance that were left, I'm going to just go ahead and stitch it, and I'm going to repeat the same process to the lining piece. I'm going to be stitching it separately, okay? And right here, that's exactly what I've done. As you can see, I've already gone ahead to stitch the side seam of both the lining piece and the main material, and here I'll just go ahead and trim off excess on the edges like so. All right, and the next thing to do is just to go ahead and flip one of the sleeve. We're going to flip it to the right side. One is going to be on the wrong side and the other one here is on the right side. Right now I'm just going to go ahead and pick this one that is on the right side, and I'm going to put it inside the lining piece like this. All right, and right now the right side of the lining is facing the right side of the main piece. All right, and I'm just going to make sure to align it so that the side is aligning with the side and the center is aligning with the center. And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and pin this down part here, the hem of the sleeve. We're going to pin it all around, and we're going to stitch it. And that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to stitch all around, and next thing to do is just to pull it outward like this. All right, then we are going to go ahead and insert the lining piece so that the lining is inside the main piece, just like this, okay? And the next thing you want to do is just to go ahead and give it a very, very good press, okay? And with that, your trumpet sleeve is ready to be attached to your blouse, your gown, or whatever you want to attach it to. And that will be the end of the video today. I'll see you in my next tutorial.